Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane, and thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. We've got a big one today that I am terribly excited about. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about. First of all, as always, we are going to go through anything that you might have missed that we've put out lately. We're going to talk about what we're currently working on, and then we're going to talk about what's on deck after that. And today we have a special announcement, and I am joined by a very special guest. We are also going to be giving away 4 Vampire Nexus Ultimate Bundles today, so pay attention to the prompts in chat to have a chance to win that. And as always, you can ask me anything. I love the dinosaur questions, but it can be non-dinosaur related as well. So you can ask those questions at any point during the stream today by typing the word question and then following that by the question itself. And then our magical Demibot will collect those, and I will get through as many as I have time for at the end of the stream. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this special announcement out there into the night.
When the sun goes down, the struggle begins. The hunger, the beast, urging you to feed. Soft at first, but always there. Taunting, relentless. The beast will not be denied. The thirst grows, an implacable, pounding demand. Time is short, and you must hunt, must consume, all while evading, lest you become the prey. The drums roar unceasingly, or is it the beast threatening to strip away your control? The beast may win sometimes, but if you forge the right alliances, remain in the shadows, and resist your darkest urges, it won't win tonight.
All right, there you have it. The Vampire Nexus character tools are released. They're live now. You can continue watching the stream, but as soon as the stream's over, you can go and start making all of the vampire characters that your blood-filled heart want to do. We are very excited to have those tools out here today, and I'm very excited to be joined by a special guest. Thanks so much for joining me, Jason. Would you introduce yourself to everyone if they, for some reason, don't know who you are?
For you, Adam, anything, of course. Thanks for having me, Adam. I really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Carl. I'm the brand marketing manager for Vampire the Masquerade and all of the World of Darkness. I'm the host of LA by Night, New York by Night, Seattle by Night, and who knows what else by night in the future. And I'm delighted to be here with you today to inaugurate the Vampire the Masquerade character tools here on Demiplane Nexus.
Yes, thanks so much again for joining, Jason. And one of the things that there's a press release that's going to go out today. And when they came and said, "Hey, Adam, we need a quote for this press release," the thing that I immediately went to as I was thinking about this is over the years, I've played so many characters in so many games. I need to try to give that some conscious thought at some point to see how many characters I've played. As I'm thinking about just the hundreds, I don't even know like how many hundreds of characters I guess I've played over the years. Some of, if not the most memorable ones, are going to come from the world of darkness. And so as I was thinking about that, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you here today was what do you think it is about the world of darkness and playing world of darkness games that create those kind of memorable experiences?
I think it's three things. Can I tell you three things?
Yes, you can tell me more than that if you'd like.
Well, let's not get carried away here.
All right.
Thing number one, you're the monster. You are playing the monster. Your character is the monster. And that was when World of Darkness first appeared, a revolutionary idea in tabletop role playing games. At the time, monsters were things you hunted and killed for loot and treasure or for, dramatic satisfaction. But playing the monster, being the monster as a player character was a new thing. And even today, with all its long lineage and history, I still think that's one of the most powerful aspects of the World of Darkness. And that's one of the things that resonates with people who love this story world and keeps us coming back again and again to tell fresh stories in it. So that's number one. Number two, because you're the monster, there's always dramatic tension between your monstrous nature and the rest of the world, humanity, and all the wonderful and terrible things that humanity is reflected back at us through our monster characters and through the story. And that tension, I think, creates the second draw for us, where we return to create new stories in the world of darkness. And three, I think that fact that you're the monster, that there's this dramatic tension between monsters and humanity, generates a surprising amount of hope.
Huh, interesting. Please explain.
I think that it is a world. I've heard it's a world of darkness, and it certainly is. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your monster character is an antagonist. Quite the contrary. I think that monster protagonists show us a reflection of our humanity in the darkest and most difficult of times, and that can lead to actually some hopeful, aspirational stories. Yes, you're a monster. You're a vampire. You must do terrible things to survive. If you don't, you might do worse things. But that can put you on a course for not only retaining your humanity, but maybe redemption through the stories that you tell with your friends.
Love it. There you have it, folks. That is, one of the best explanations because honestly, Jason, as I've explained that even, fairly recently to my wife, because she doesn't play any of these games, believe it or not. It seems like she would just, things would just rub off on her over the years, but she has had a line in the sand all this time, doesn't play any of these games. When I'm trying to explain to her what the world of darkness is, I think I hit on most of those points. But it took me about 30 minutes to explain all that. So I appreciate the very succinct summary there, and I think that that you really are hitting on something that does it just makes the sessions that you're playing and those characters that you're playing just so memorable and so engaging. And these character tools are something that one of the struggles that I've seen is with really any game out there. And one of the reasons that the digital aspect is so important is, hey, I want to play this game. I want to create a character. And through all the decades of role-playing games, that typically comes down to, okay, I'm going to get with a storyteller, I'm going to get with a GM, and we're going to have to hash this out together because it needs to be a really, really guided experience for that character creation piece. And I think the digital tools, you're still going to interact and engage with the storyteller a ton because, that's a huge part of the game. You're still going to be making relationship maps and all of the things with the other player characters that are coming together. But that part of being able to really really sit in front of your options and figure out the concept that you want for your character, that is something that these character tools are really going to help, make this more accessible and hopefully bring new fans into the world of darkness.
I like to think of it this way. I think that the most beneficial thing about these tools, especially for Vampire the Masquerade and World of Darkness games, is it helps us get to the fun faster. Right? As you said, it could be creating a character can be an extraordinarily guided experience, and that's a fun way to make a character. But you don't always have that kind of time, especially if everyone's got busy schedules.
Yes.
That would never happen, right?
Never.
Never happen. And people sometimes want to self-direct. They want to make a character in a self-guided way just by consulting the sources, playing with the traits, figuring out how it works, maybe sharing it with their storyteller or their fellow players, getting feedback, and then working on it in their own time. And the end result is, I think we do get to the fun parts of the experience much, much faster through the benefit of tools like this.
Absolutely. And so let's jump in and show off the tools a little bit here. So first of all, I'm going to go to get here. All you have to do is demiplane.com/characters, or there are a variety of links in all the places to get to this character creation screen. Once I decide that I'm going to create a character, then I am going to come to the builder. And here at the builder, as you can see, in Vampire, we're going to have this concept of, hey, we initially create the character and you get certain, traits and abilities during that creation process. But then there's also a progression track. So as you earn experience, then you're able to apply that experience to for the character growth piece of that. So we've got that kind of split out here to make that, easier. But in the getting started section, we can add our name. Jason, what's the first name that comes to your mind right now?
Ooh, let's give the character the name Silver.
Silver, love it. So we've got Silver.
Silver yet?
We don't know about Silver, and so what is Silver from an age perspective?
Oh, I think they're definitely Silver. With a name like Silver, they're definitely a fledgling.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So we'll go here, or we're going Childer, right?
I think that's a good choice.
Yes. All right, let's do that. Silver, I'm looking at our portrait options here. I could obviously upload something, but I don't want to hit that on my computer because you will see all kinds of secret stuff if we go to a file directory on my computer. So we're going to choose, let's see, I'm trying to see, I have bad eyesight. We're going to say this is Silver, and we begin our process. The big thing here is clan selection. So Jason, if someone is creating their first vampire character, what would you say is the most important thing to keep in mind about choosing your clan?
I think two things to keep in mind. One, what you and your storyteller have discussed works best for the story. The storyteller may want to steer you toward one clan over another, but more important than that is, I think it's all about the way you like to play role-playing games. If you are the kind of player who wants to break things and break them often and break them into smaller and smaller pieces progressively, there are certain clans that are better suited for that. If you prefer a more cerebral, investigative, sneaky, or problem-solving approach, there are clans better suited for that. There are clans that are by nature very high society and social and seductive, and there are clans that are sneaky and clandestine. So knowing what you want to play style-wise, super important for picking the clan.
So Jason, I know that this is, picking your favorite children, but I believe I've heard you talk about this before. What is your favorite clan?
My favorite clan is the Ventru.
Yeah.
I really like their story. I like their story of fallen grace, their story of corrupted noblesse oblige, and they just have great personal style.
I definitely agree. We're going to make Silver a Ventru. We're going to move forward here.
Silver already.
Silver, we are loving Silver. And so from here, after we choose our clan, We also have our attributes and skills, which are a really key part of the game. So again, when we are coming to this attributes and skills section, in just a few words, what are the things that that new player is looking out for here as they're starting to browse the
Mhm.
attributes and skills?
Again, one of the strengths of Vampire the Masquerade, and indeed all World of Darkness games, is that you can really craft the character that you want to play that reflects your play style. We've chosen Ventrue, which, as I mentioned, is a clan known for leadership and noblesse oblige and personal style. They have a range of disciplines that include mental, physical, and social aspects. And the only important thing to remember when picking those attributes is how I want to play. So if I want to play a very social Ventrue, you can. If you want to play a very physical Ventrue that really shows leadership through direct action, combat, and violence, you can do that too. Or maybe you'd like to play a very cerebral, intellectual Ventrue that is a mastermind at the boardroom, but leaves the dirty work to flunkies and minions and allies and associates. It's really okay. You can't make a bad choice, which I think is a real strength of the system.
All right. So we're just going
Crazy.
to choose some composure. I felt like composure was
Mhm.
sticking out to me here for our
You want to
three
be
dot.
cool, calm, in the
Yep,
face
yep.
of danger.
Our 4 dot placement, 3 dot placements. We'll say, charisma is sticking out to me for
Mhm.
silver, and then, possibly wits is
Interesting. So
kind.
already we see that Silver is a charismatic leader that relies on their social skills in difficult situations. They stay calm under pressure, as reflected by the high composure, and they're quick thinking, quick on their feet, and quick under pressure.
And then
Interesting.
I did my 1 dot placement in strength here,
Ooh, so
and
did not spend a lot of time in the gym powerlifting.
not
Not a lot
necessarily a
of
physical
strength
combatant.
before the embrace, because of
Yeah,
course Silver was a person. Before Silver became a vampire, they were a human being. They lived, they shopped, they who knows, maybe they had a job or went to school. They
absolutely.
they breathed, and now they don't. But whoever they were in life informs who they are as a vampire.
Yeah, and so same thing with skills here. I'm going to just make some selections, just
Go
kind of
for it.
off the cuff a little bit here, where we can move on to some of the other things. I like the insight. I think that
Good
made
choice.
a ton of sense. We're going to say persuasion as well, and just some of these down through here. Let's say she was an RN, and she's got some medicine skills
Okay.
from her life. But yeah, so we're going to go here and we're done there. And then as we can get into these 1 dot placements, they can go all the way down there. I'm going to skip that for the sake of time, but this is where also you can set your specialties. And so what is a specialty, Jason?
A specialty is merely an area of expertise in a particular skill. So you mentioned that Silver has some dots in medicine. They might have a skill in blood transfusions that could come
Mm,
in handy, or they might have a specialty in first aid or emergency trauma, gunshot wounds. Who knows what kind of medicine they practiced when they were alive? And that specialty would simply give you an extra die in your pool when you roll any dice pool involving medicine.
yeah, absolutely. So you define those specialties, and then
Mhm.
we can move on to our next step, which is a huge one, your disciplines
Yeah,
and powers.
yeah. Like I said,
So
chosen an interesting clan because the Ventrue have disciplines that rely on each of the three main uh, attributes. Of course, they have dominate, which is primarily a mental power set, which is control of other people's minds. They have presence, which is all about being charismatic and alluring and socially accomplished. And they have fortitude, which is the discipline that allows you to take damage and still keep going, or to
yeah,
heal damage more efficiently as a vampire. So, again, whichever play style you prefer, you get to make the choice.
we're going to go with presence there for our 2 dot placement. And
Okay.
then I'm going to say, pretty tough, our silver. And then when we get to presence, this is where we can choose uh, which powers that we have access to within
Right.
presence. So, what is the most for you? What do you think? And it doesn't have to be in presence here. What is your favorite power, or a couple of powers that you really enjoy either playing with or seeing your players use in the sessions that you're playing with Vampire?
Well, it has nothing to do with adventure, but my very favorite discipline set is Auspex, which is the power to see beyond the obvious, beyond the normal, and into the veil of the hidden, of the beyond the veil of the hidden world. Extrasensory powers, the aura perception, seeing ghosts, kind of a psychometry power is in the mix too. I've always thought it would be great to see the world through supernatural eyes, so I always gravitate towards Auspex.
So, with Auspex, what do you think? What do you think it is as a player or storyteller that you know? For me, as a storyteller, one of the reasons I like Auspex is because there's always that moment when you're playing that, as a GM or storyteller, that you wish that the party, the player characters, the coterie had information that you have that they don't have. So one of the things I love about Auspex is it gives this really interesting way to engage with that and potentially reveal some of that information, here or there, and have a really compelling story reason to do so.
I think
But
it definitely supports those moments in the story. I like that it can be cryptic. The information that you get from Auspex isn't necessarily crystal clear and precise. You may need to figure it out if you're using something like, premonition. It could be very cryptic. It come to you. The information could come to you in visions and signs, portents, omens, and now you've got a whole new story or subplot to enjoy.
one of the things that I've moved forward a little bit here because
Mm,
we're going to get you out of here briefly, but one of the things that, as I explain Vampire to potential players out there, that it seems like the Predator type. It's not necessarily confusing as much as it is, that people maybe at this point in the process are just not aware of what it
sure.
is.
Mhm.
So, what's going on with the Predator type?
So we all have habits when it comes to dining, right? We all have our favorite go-to foods. We all have our favorite go-to restaurants or our takeout or delivery service, our favorite cuisines, our favorite way to make a favorite food. And we tend to default to those things either when we're pressed for time and we have to make a choice quickly, or when we're free to choose anything we want, we often go to our favorites. Predator type is merely your favorite way to eat. It's how I generally get the thing I need to remain a healthy undead vampire, mortal blood, or perhaps animal blood if you're one of those unusual types of vampires who prefer it. Um, but the predator type is your go-to dining method. You're not limited to hunting. Let's say that let's pick a predator type for silver. Let's say silver is a scene queen.
Scene
That means
Queen,
they're
perfect.
prominent in a subculture. They're very important in the medical professions. Maybe they're really well known among paramedics or EMTs or doctors or emergency rooms. Who knows? First aid clinics. You never know. But in that scene, they have prominence and they prefer to feed from people who are also in that scene because they're around them a lot. So it's very convenient. Um, but silver isn't limited to that special diet. That's a preference and a habit. With very
Absolutely.
rare exceptions, silver could dine anywhere she wishes.
And so, given that, when players are coming to Vampire, what is it, other than possibly some mechanics that we're seeing that we're choosing here, with access to some new disciplines, those kinds of things. What is it, story wise, that the Predator type is really doing? If they can feed, however they like to feed, what the intent from the story perspective for the Predator type
Sure.
is what?
Predator type accomplishes two things in that regard. The first is mechanical. It provides an expedient, almost shorthand way to handle feeding scenes, especially when you have multiple players in the middle of an exciting story. You may not want to stop and narrate each and every hunt for mortal blood or narrate in minute detail every scene. You could, if you wanted to, simply take the dice pool indicated by the predator type, make the roll against the appropriate difficulty, figure out how successful the hunt was with the roll, and go on from there. That's especially handy if you've got a lot of players at the table, or you're trying to set the pacing properly so that your scenes follow the dramatic beats that you want. The second thing it can accomplish is simply role playing. It's a narrative tool to help us learn more about Silver and who they are. Silver is the scene queen. They value their presence and their prominence in the particular subculture that they're part of. It's an important part of their life, or it was before they were embraced. And now we know a little bit more about Silver. And for the storyteller, that suggests all kinds of cool, dramatic stories and plots that we could use.
Epic. All right, so let's move to kind of the final, mechanical piece here before we get to really, the heart of what's going on here with the concept and lore section. But we have advantages and flaws, so merits, backgrounds, lore sheets. I'm not going to go through all of this because we can spend some time here making those selections, of course. But when it comes to this, what is the intent of this part of the game? What is it doing for the vampire game?
It does two different things. Again, it helps establish the connection to Silver's life as a mortal. Who were they before they were embraced as a vampire? What associations with mortals do they bring with them into unlife? And what have they been building since they have been embraced? Maybe they've invested a lot of time in their haven where they sleep, with lots of protective devices and cool comforts. Or maybe they've spent their time cultivating allies to help them accomplish whatever goals that they have. Maybe they have inherent supernatural flaws that are related to vampire folklore, like can't cross running water or repelled by holy symbols. That's not standard for vampires in Vampire the Masquerade, but it does happen. Backgrounds are a way to give that flavor, that role-playing flair, and to help us define Silver as a genuine individual and not just any other vampire.
All right. Then we come to our concept and lore section. And honestly, this is a part of the character tools that when you come to a, paper character sheet, there are several, blanks that you're filling in. And this is the place where you are really filling in the story itself, the characters, backstory, but also a variety of other, choices. And with that, we obviously have those character details. And I'm moving fast to get you out of here, but not to gloss over how important these things are, because these are incredibly important. But what about, in particular, beliefs is something that is really interesting to me. What is it about convictions and touchstones that those mechanics bring to the game?
Convictions are the things we must always do or will never do. At least that's what we tell ourselves, right? We all have those lines that we choose to define in our lives that we will never cross. For vampires, it's often something that is come over to them that they brought with their mortal life. I don't kill. Murder is wrong. Never kill, or only kill in self-defense. That might be a conviction. Always help people who need it. Never let someone else control me. They're usually always or never statements that define our moral red lines. And touchstones are mortals who are part of our everyday associations that reinforce those beliefs. So if Silver's conviction is always help people in need, maybe her mortal touchstone is somebody she knows from the medical profession, either an old mentor, a doctor that they knew, a patient that they helped at some point, but someone who's in their lives, and every time they associate with that touchstone, they're reminded of this conviction. Now, of course, the thing about moral red lines is that we sometimes break them, or we're tempted to break them. And in Vampire the Masquerade, that system of convictions and touchstones creates huge drama at the table whenever we approach the point where we might violate our own ethics.
All right.
That would never happen either, right?
Of course, never, 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 never. All right, we're getting on in time, and so I'm going to jump ahead again. You can spend some real time there and really fleshing out the character's details there, and so the character concept and all of those things that kind of drive the narrative for your character are incredibly important in the world of darkness. But we come to our digital character sheet. We've got things laid out here for people to be able. So again, we've talked about with silver, composure is something that really a good and high score here. And we're also going to say that for whatever role that we are currently building our dice pool for, we're doing a composure etiquette role. And this is where we have our dice over here. We can see what's going on. We can roll this. I'm looking for successes. I got 4 successes.
Fantastic.
Out of that roll.
If it was 4 or less, you succeeded.
That is it. And so one last little thing that I wanted to make sure folks knew about, we have our default theme here, which we call Embraced, but we do have a Camarilla theme. We have an Anarchs theme. One of the ones that I really dig is the City Unlife theme, and then Bloodstained. So content warning, definitely got some blood here, which the game's pretty bloody too. And then I turned the light on right there. We have our Nightlight theme if you prefer a light mode. So all of that is here. Another thing that you can do is share your characters. So especially if you go in and work on this character, you create it, and then you want to share this back to your storyteller, this is a great place to do that, where your storyteller can see all the final choices that you've made and got everything ready. Jason, we're definitely out of time there. I've held you longer than I wanted to, but I really appreciate the discussion. I appreciate you being here. I could talk about this stuff for hours, but I really think that what you shared here today can really help, because we've had so many potential World of Darkness fans that have reached out, that have possibly used Pathfinder Nexus or Avatar Legends Nexus, and they're like, what's this World of Darkness? I've seen so much discussion about that in recent weeks, and I think there have been many people that have been just kind of standing on the edge, ready to take that plunge, and I think what you shared here today can be really helpful for them.
Well, to those who might be ready to take that plunge now, let me just say welcome to the family. We're happy that you're going to join us. And thank you very much, Adam and Demiplane, for letting me join you today for the inauguration.
Absolutely. Where can people find you online, Jason?
They can find me online at Vampires en Vino, everywhere that vampires exist.
That's it. All right. Thanks so much, Jason. We'll talk soon. Have a good one. All right, here we go. Let's go back to everything else that we have some news for here today, and I'm going to blow through this where I can get to some questions. So thanks so much, Jason, again for joining me. Vampire Nexus, we've already talked about this, but a few things that I want to make sure that we are covering is we are currently working on the Chicago Folios source in the back catalog. That's coming soon. We also have a sale going on right now to celebrate character tools coming to Vampire. You can use the WOD Tober 23, so Wadtober 23 at checkout to get 20% off Nexus books. So be sure to take advantage of that sale if you have been waiting to plunge into the World of Darkness in particular. Pathfinder Nexus, we are working through core remaster updates. We've got some bug fixes that are also that have gone live today with this release. So we'll have some release notes up there a little bit later. One of the big ones that we're working on in the future here is character performance updates that I've talked about for a couple of streams here, but that's a big one as we get into the last part of this year. We're now firmly in Q4 of this year. Avatar Legends Nexus, We had hoped that we would be able to share the specific release date today. Not quite there yet, but we do know it's October, so we will share more about that as soon as we're able to. We have a new episode of On the no, not On the Airtay. It's actually Children of Airtay. I didn't update that properly. Children of Airtay, new episode tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. And Marvel Multiverse RPG. We are almost there with this. I'm going to show off. We had a big feature on the release of the vampire character tools today. I'll start teasing a little bit more with Marvel starting next week. Very excited about that one as well. And our character tools roadmap has not changed at this point. But those are the order of that's the order of the character tools that we are planning to introduce. All right, if it hasn't happened already, we are giving away 4 Vampire Nexus Ultimate Bundles. So good luck to everyone out there with that. And I think with that, I'm going to take a deep breath and jump into questions. Deep breath. All right, here we go. We got a few questions here that we are going to jump into. Let me start with one here, because we'll save some of the funny ones for a little bit later. Jacob Rogers let's see, Rogers RPG. When will the 5e Nexus have full spell details or new content? I hate visiting your competitor to do development work. So first of all, we don't necessarily look at it, in a competitor lens. Because as we have shared with our 5e Nexus, a really big push that we're going to be having here is for some of that great third-party content that is happening out there in the wild. So we're really excited about that piece. But the first party content that you're referring to is something that we don't have current plans to have integrated, but we are planning for a full-blown homebrew system that if there are any gaps in any of that, it will be easy enough to fill in those blanks. And so there is no ETA for that now. I imagine that it will be something that we work on, at least start the work for. The homebrew system's gonna have work started for it here this year, before the end of the year. And again, I'm saying starting, because in this software development thing, you can't always know exactly when it's going to end, but it is getting closer. And we are going to definitely be working more on 5e in the first part of next year. We've got another one from Marshall Marshes. How long have you been waiting to get the VTM tools out? How long have I been waiting? I'm not exactly sure if I know the intent behind the question, because I would say that I've been waiting since the first time that we, talked to the World of Darkness team at Paradox. So that's been a while back, but yeah, we've for the last several weeks in particular, we've known that we were going to be, going live with this today, and it has been just a ramp up of excitement across that time. It really, really thrilling. Everything that is going on with the World of Darkness tools. I can't, from here, maybe I'll never be satisfied, but I can't wait to get into Hunter and Werewolf as well. But having Vampire out there into the night is an incredibly important thing for us, and it's something that's very important to me as a fan of World of Darkness, and I hope it is for you as well. Let's see. Marshall Marshes, does the Wadtober 23 work for Hunter the Reckoning and let's see, WTQ? What is that standing for? I'm missing my acronyms right now. Somebody might be able to help me. But what I can say about the promo code is that is going to be valid for any Nexus book across any of the games. And so it's not going to be for bundles. It's not going to be for hardcover bundles in particular, but any book that should be applicable for that. Saint Dormatius, I know I'm the weirdo. No, surely not. Who always ask about this, but any ETA on formulas coming for Pathfinder 2E character sheets? Not weird at all, but the question on ETA is normally met with we don't do dates. And I'm not going to share dates here in the dev update unless we are 99.9% sure that we're going to hit a date, because that just leads to pain and frustration and suffering for really everybody involved, us, you out there waiting for it and everything else. But I can say that formulas, the remaster is taking up some of our focus here. Again, we're very excited about all of the updates to the game here, but it's taking some focus and energy. And I think once we are able to get on the other side of that, we're going to be able to focus back in on that short-term beta roadmap. And again, the big part of that is we've got to get performance where it needs to be, and we will be able to. That's the great news. Is it's all stuff that we know what we've got to do to get this thing to be very snappy on the Pathfinder side, like we're seeing with Avatar and now Vampire, and what we'll see with Marvel before too much longer. Pathfinder's got to get there, and we're going to be taking that time to get it there, because there's always that the first pancake is always the worst one, or whatever kind of stuff from the look perspective for the pancake. Sometimes it's just as delicious as everything else, but we know that we're getting to redo the pancake, so to speak, for Pathfinder, and we're getting into the remaster. After we get on the other side of that, we're going to focus on that short-term beta roadmap, which formulas would absolutely be in there on. I would expect, just at a rough cut, I would expect that we would start work on formulas this year, to give a little bit of an idea there. Once we start work on it, it shouldn't take terribly long for that. So again, that's about as much specificity as I can give at this stage. Super Average 214, any plans for adding Call of Cthulhu to your roadmap? That would be interesting. Nothing to share on that front, but I definitely like that game a good bit. Jacob Rogers RPG, what is the earliest a rising dinosaur that you still think is awesome? Now, are we talking about like timeline, like history timeline wise, like the one that came along first, or are we talking about the one that surfaced first to me in my memory? On the first part of the question, I have no idea, because I am not that much of a dinosaur scientist to remember all the time frames for all the dinosaurs. That's something that I have. I don't sweat those kind of details as much as I do. Oh, like that is awesome, and finding out about how it warded off, warded itself from predators and those kind of things. But the timing of that, I'm not as well versed in that at all. So if that's the question, I'm not going to be able to answer that very well. But I can say, if the question is more like the second thing, the Brontosaurus, of course, there's some debate over whether that was real or not. But the very first dinosaur that I ever drew was a Brontosaurus. And I remember very, very clearly. I do artwork, comic art, and those kind of things. But when I was a kid, and I was just entering kindergarten, and I was tasked with drawing anything I wanted to during crayon time. I distinctly remember drawing what I really think to this day was a pretty darn good representation of a brontosaurus, and so that's going to be the one that I think it's awesome, whether it truly existed or not. Something very close to it existed, and so that's what I'm going to go with that answers. Let's see. Frigar Hadur. Have you talked about dinos with Sam Delev, and have you played Predation? So I have briefly talked about dinosaurs with Sam, but I think that would be a wonderful geeking out session at some point with them. And so we'll have to make that happen. And have I played Predation? I have not played it yet. I have read it, and I am prepared to run it and play it. So as soon as I have time to maybe sleep, after the sleep, I might play some Predation. And then finally, last question here, Crobe. I know that guy. What's your favorite GI Joe, and what is their favorite dinosaur? So my favorite GI Joe. There is no correct answer for this other than Snake Eyes. And, it's kind of like what's your favorite X? There's like this just super given answer. It's Snake Eyes. Like everybody likes Snake Eyes the best. So Snake Eyes is my favorite dinosaur. Snake Eyes is my favorite GI Joe. Now my mind is going towards the Snake Eyes dinosaur that I'm going to design now. Snake Eyes is definitely my favorite GI Joe, but also like I am like super into Snake Eyes, like know everything about Snake Eyes. I have a copy of every single Snake Eyes action figure that's ever been made. For instance, all of those kind of things with Snake Eyes. So it's definitely Snake Eyes, but I am a really big fan of Storm Shadow and Firefly as well. The Arashikage connection going on there. But again, I like a lot of GI Joes. I would say that Snake Eyes' favorite dinosaur is going to be something like a Deinonychus, something stealthy, something that is a silent killer. So I'm definitely going to say something like that. And then Melly DM, I know Melly. So Anchor 89, I guess didn't get the question in front there, but Melly has got you. Character tool, HTR character tools coming soon. Any werewolf news? So Hunter the Reckoning character tools. I don't know what your definition of soon is, but they are certainly on the roadmap. And then as is werewolf. So really excited about both of those and continuing to have more and more support for World of Darkness. In the meantime, though, that's all the questions for today. I went way over, but that's okay. In the meantime, go and check out vampirenexus.com and check out the character tools. So demiplane.com/characters. Get in there and create vampire characters. There are some free options out there for you. We also have some pre-gen characters that if you want to jump right into the final character sheet for those characters, we've got a Toreador and a Bruja, and those are out there that you can jump into as well. So vampire tools are out. We're really happy and excited to see that finally be out there for you to be able to jump into and use for your World of Darkness games. All right, I think that's it. There's something gnawing at me that I feel like I need to remember to say right now. But, honestly, I've been living with that feeling for about the last 3 months, that there's always something on the tip of my mind. And that's what propels me forward. We're going to go and get back to work on everything else that we are doing here after some lunch. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Join us tonight for a new episode of Children of Erte at 6 p.m. Pacific. Otherwise, we will see you here next week. Have a good one. Later, Gators.